But anyway, come on up, Chad Deal, who I think is one of the Vietnamese.
All right, I guess if anything, this reflects on the staff and what they hold dear. I guess some backstory. This story takes place at Burning Man Festival a few years ago, which is out in the Nevada desert. It reached about 40,000 people when we were there. And what to say? The first night there, there was an episode of some pretty psychedelic and passionate lovemaking, which left me somewhat of an abrasion on my most valuable possession. And so I guess the meat of the story here is me coming to terms with the possibility of a penile amputation. Anyways, it begins walking out of the doctor's office there at Burning Man after he tells me it's time to go directly to Reno to get internal antibiotics, and I didn't want to do that. So, amputation. The word kept grinding on the tender parts of my cognitive gumball, echoing inside my skull with the workaday nonchalance of a loose buzzsaw. Of course, within a few weeks of the operation, her sympathies would begin to give way to natural feminine longings. We would dabble in the available alternative, sure. Elaborate toys that twist and hum, thrust and flash. Whistle your favorite song through tinny speakers powered on a handful of double A's. She would pretend it was the same at first, as good as the real thing. But after it was all over and the damn thing was still tweeting whole lot of love in cheesy digital monotone, our eyes would have to meet. Without a word, we'd be forced to acknowledge the vibrating lie, mass-produced in Taiwan, which would henceforth be filling a space that once only I could. It was more than a man should have to bear. My loss would hit home when Jillian packed up and left in a fit of pity and sexual frustrations, abandoning her wanting once loved to endure alone the existential despairs of the unit. I'd be on the road then, drifting from town to town like so many others with a gruesome secret beneath their belts, walking distant alleyways in a shawl with lowered eyes. Some perhaps mistaking me for a Buddha, a sage. Obligingly, I would shave my head in a rage one dark moon night after, despite my truest efforts, a girl met by chance seduced me with fine whiskey and small talk in a smoky barroom before proceeding to cop a feel of my manhood in a dark corner behind the shuffleboards. The sound of her shrieking at my vague nubbin of a thing would haunt me for years, and I probably wouldn't be able to stomach Maker's Mark for the rest of my hapless existence. I would bitterly take up bocce ball and moth collecting. I would surround myself with old men as often as possible. The unspoken impotence all around would likely bring a cheap sort of comfort and assumed camaraderie. But alas, I would break down one day after old Peabody loses my rare emperor moth to his aging memory, and I would be defeated by the impervious knowledge that at least Peabody and the rest of the boys had one. I would disappear into the desert, a literal embodiment of Zen, a man, but not a man. It would all make sense then, cooking Vienna weenies over a stick fire, whistling old hits from Prince of the Revolution. This whole blunder was all part of the plan. The big plan. It was karmically inevitable. How much time wasted fiddling that second lowest of chakras? How much precious time shot to hell waving one to the wind at the bar? My God, I had been given the greatest gift possible. After all, shamans in most cultures require strict celibacy of themselves so as to facilitate higher energies. Indeed, how much harder it would be with the facilities intact. The fates have smiled upon me, I would think, as I crawled into my sleeping bag beneath an immaculate star-filled night. It had to be this way. Why, it couldn't have been any other way. I would curl up and let out a deep sigh for my loving angels, wherever they were. Tomorrow would be a new day, and I would be grateful. Lost, alone, and at peace in my gentle, genderless